Hello, friends. Today we are starting a story episode, and for that, I have taken this book called Jataka Tales, or in Malayalam, Jataka Kadagal, retold by Sujaga Raghunathan, a god who came in different forms and in different ages, but born for one single purpose: to uphold righteousness. The Jataka Tales is a collection of stories of Bodhisattva, the previous lives of Lord Buddha, of paramount importance to the Buddhist religion and Indian literature. The stories have been a source of wisdom to the whole world, teaching us to be fair, just, and good. The Jataka Tales is one of the biggest contribution of Indian culture. So let's get started. Let's get started with the story itself. I will narrate a story. The Hare and the Moon. This was the time when Bodhisattva was living as a hare on the banks of the river Ganga. This little hare had three friends: an otter, a fox, and a monkey. They were such different friends that even those they
The Hare in the Moon. This was a time when Bodhisattva was living as a hare on the banks of the river Ganga. This little hare had three friends: an otter, a fox, and a monkey. They were such dear friends that even though they all lived quite far from each other, every evening they would meet and spend time in the company of each other, talking and laughing. The title Hare was as devout as a sage. Prayer, meditation, and fasting had become his habit, and he would often discuss on the importance of these to his friends. One day, while he saw the moon up in the sky, the little hare told his friends, "Tomorrow is Ekadashi. We should observe fasting. And at the end of it, only after feeding another should we ourselves eat." The otter, the fox, and the monkey unanimously agreed. The next morning, the otter made his way to the banks of the Ganga. He had to find food. After all, he should have some stored up if he was to give alms to another at the end of fasting. There, the otter chanced upon a sight. A fisherman had captured some fish and stacked them on a stick, and had left the stick buried in the sand. He had gone fishing again. The otter burrowed into the sand and found the stick with a fish stuck on it. The otter was by no means a thief. He was an horrible animal. So he asked aloud 3 times, "Does anyone have climbed upon this fish?" There was no reply, and the otter went home happily, carrying the fish. Keeping the fish safe in his burrow, the otter began his meditation. The fox had left early in the morning in search of food. He went straight to the village nearby and entered the house of a farmer. There he found some curd in a little pot. The fox too was not a thief, but an horrible animal. He asked aloud 3 times, "Does anyone have climbed over this curd?" There was no reply, and the fox went home happily, carrying the little pot of curd. Keeping it in his den, the fox too began his meditation. The monkey by now had traveled deep into the jungle, jumping from the branch of one mango tree to another. He collected as many mangoes as he could. He went home happily carrying an armful of mangoes. Keeping the mangoes safe in his tree home, the monkey too began his meditation. When morning came, the little herd came out of his burrow and collected some kusha grass at home. He spread the grass like a mat on the floor and began his meditation. That was when it struck him. Grass is my food. It is something I can never offer to another, yet I don't have any other food saved up. What am I to? Yes, I know. If someone comes to my door asking for food, I will offer my flesh to them. Up in heaven, the king of the gods, Sakra, heard this truth. What mighty thoughts from such a tiny creature! Is he so horrible that he will offer his life to keep his word? Let me try and find out. Donning the disguise of a Brahmin, Sakra traveled to the forest just in time to receive alms after the fasting. Sakra went to the altar, who bowed down at the sight of the venerable Brahmin. The Brahmin spoke, I have been fasting and I am weary. May I have some food? With utmost respect, the otter fetched the fish he had collected and laid them at the Brahmin's feet. Please accept this food and purge your hunger. I am grateful, said the Brahmin. I will come for this tomorrow. Shakra left the otter and travelled on.
I will jump into the flames and offer you my roasted flesh. The Brahmin lit the fire, the flames leapt high, the embers smoldering. The hare walked around the fire 3 times and then, as stoically as a swan entered a lake, the little hare walked into the hungry flames. That was when the miracle took place. Not a straight of his white hair was singing. The flame felt as cold as ice flakes. The hare turned around in surprise and inquired, Most revered Brahmin, what has happened? Then Sakra spoke. Bodhisattva was not a Brahmin. I am Sakra, the king of the gods. I came to test your devotion. Your selflessness and generosity will be remembered as long as the earth stands. I will make sure of it. Sakra collected some herbs, ground them, and collected their juice. With the juice, he drew the picture of the little hare on the moon, rising high up in the sky. If you look closely on a full moon's night, you can still see the image of the hare on the moon. Chakra then blessed the otter, the fox, and the monkey for their generosity and left for heaven.